Hi everybody, it's Tammy, and today we're going to have some fun because Barbara's here. I'll shut up the music. So we're going to have some fun today. Barbara's here. We're going to talk about transition. Okay. So I'm glad everybody can come. My name is Tammy, and I'm an advocate. I've been an advocate for a long time, over 30 years. And I stopped about last year, the year before, actually taking on new clients instead of doing this. I like it a lot better because I can handle more people for different issues they have. So this is a better fit for me right now at my age because I'm old. Hence the hair. So anyway, hi Alma. Barbara, did you see that? Alma said hi.
Yeah, hi, Emma.
So it's Alma.
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 Oh, Alma. I'm sorry.
Alma.
Alma.
So anyway, so I'm just gonna give, some background information on Barbara. Barbara has been my client since her son was 12. And and her son is now 24. So it's a long time. I think it was 12. It might have been earlier, but I'm pretty sure it was 12. Her son has multiple disabilities. He's mobile, but he's not very vocal. His language is short, little. For all intents and purposes, he's nonverbal. He has echolalia, so if you ask him something, he'll repeat it. But he's a wonderful kid, and he's beautiful. He's just as handsome as you want to be, and he's bigger than Barbara now. But there's been a lot of things that have gone on with me and Barbara regarding your son when he was in public school, and that's what we're going to talk about today because the stuff that didn't happen for him, even though we fought really, really hard, we thought he was going to get what he needed when he was placed in the private schools, and come to find out he didn't get anything. In fact, I'm going to show you later how Massachusetts got busted for doing just that thing, and how Barbara and her son at this school actually played a part in how Massachusetts monitors private schools to ensure the implementation of IDEA and discipline and all of that stuff, restraining a student. So we're going to talk a lot about that. But the first is going to be a series because there's so many things to talk about to get us up to date to where he is right now. And this series is to prepare you guys. And I'm a big proponent and a big champion of, prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to prepare for the worst. It might not come out that way for you. It might be better. I don't know. But at least you know what to expect coming down the road if somebody like a school district person says something stupid. They're good for stupid. So we can head it off at the pass. You're going to get in front of it. That's what this is all about. And the purpose of transition, and for you guys to understand what the purpose is versus what happened to Barbara's son. Okay, he didn't get any of the services, even though the school that he was placed in, the last 4 years of him being in school, cost $1 million for the Pembroke Public School District in Massachusetts. $1 million. It was $250,000 a year for them to babysit, and that's all they did. I'm going to show you what that school had to allegedly offer and basically what he doesn't have right now. So I hope you guys stay, and I hope you get a lot out of this. This is complex, but I'm hoping that you guys will get something out of it. So please ask Barbara questions, and if she can't answer them, I can answer them for you. A lot of the work I did, so I know, what to look for, how to get in front of it, how to stop it. Because we did a lot of stuff. Even though it didn't work out exactly the way we wanted it, or even close, there were some advantages. There were some wins, and it was good for him. Because now he was literally protected. from the police, from being arrested, from being put in an institution because these people don't know what to do with them. And so what I did is I created a protection field around him until he aged out of school. And now we're doing the same thing again because, they're stupid. Just saying. So anyway, so I'm going to bring in Barbara now and introduce her. And she's going to let you know about herself. And we'll go from there. I hope you guys like this. So, Barbara, you ready?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Here we go.
Hello.
Hey, everybody. Say hello to Barbara.
Hello, everyone.
So, Barbara, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. I'm a mom of two adult children with special needs. Sean is autistic with developmental delays, low functioning, of course. Also, my daughter Rachel is intellectual. She's high functioning, and she lives with us. Sean is complex, is right. He's been living in the RTR facility for going on 4 years now.
Excuse me, that's Road to Responsibility. It's a group home in Massachusetts, licensed through the Department of Developmental Disabilities in Massachusetts.
Correct. So I am married for 29 years to the same man, of course, in the same Pembroke School District for a long time. I do work full time, and I'm also advocating for both my children. And I'm trying to get FLMA. Hopefully, I can get that because it's been kind of stressful lately because of Sean's doctors. He is being doctored a lot lately, and there's a lot going on. So,
okay. So, why don't we talk about how we actually met? For the record, I don't advertise
nope.
for my services. And in the town that Barbara lived in, I was representing a lot of kids in that one town, and 99% of them ended up in private placements. And somehow, Barbara got my name. And that's how our journey began, as it was all word of mouth. And then she started telling everybody my business too. Like I wanted to, but no, she spread the word for me. I'm sorry, I just gotta shut this off. Barbara was spreading the word, so I got even more clients in this one little school district in Massachusetts, which is on the South Shore. So it's near Cape Cod, Massachusetts. It's not that close to Cape Cod, but it's pretty close. But that's how we met. And okay, I gotta tell you the story. So the very first meeting I can recall with Barbara is when I had the school district do their evaluation. So we requested that Barbara get the evaluations. I mean, that the school district get their evaluations done. And so they did. And so we go to the meeting. And none of the evaluations were conclusive. So there were no recommendations. There was nothing in there. So I don't know. I know I've told some of you people this story before, but so I'm sitting at one end of the table, long like cafeteria table. I'm sitting at one end. Barbara's way up at the beginning, and she's sitting right next to the SPED director, who has to come to our meetings because of me. So she's sitting up there, and the clinical psychologist, or whatever she was, the school psychologist, is sitting across from me. So we're talking about these evaluations, and I'm looking at people, and I'm like, what the hell? What do you mean? What do you mean you couldn't test him? What do you mean there's no recommendations? With that, Barbara got fed up because this had been going on for like 40 minutes. Barbara got pissed. She raised her fist on the table. Well, nobody saw this coming. And she bangs her fist on the table and she says, fuck. Just like that. So, and I'm like, it's not funny. Oh, no, you didn't just do that at my meeting. And I'm like, I jumped. Scared the shit out of me. I jumped, and then I looked at it and said, Barbara, you can't do that.
Right.
And as I'm saying it, I'm laughing. I'm like, Barbara, don't do it again.
I know,
So
anyway. But he didn't mind it, though. He didn't mind it, so.
No, I didn't care. Because, one thing's for sure, the SPED director, do you remember her? She was literally shaking. Her hands were shaking.
Yes.
And it was because between she didn't expect Barbara to do that, but they
Well,
were
see,
afraid of me too because I had so
right.
many clients in that one little town, and every time they turned around, I was filed for a hearing
But
because
you
I don't
spoke
like
the
them.
truth. You spoke the truth.
They
You
didn't want to hear it.
spoke, they didn't want to hear it. That's why they were shaken. And me, thank you, Jesus, for Tammy. And like you said, exactly what's going on.
Well, yeah, and that's speaking truth to power, and that's what I'm trying to tell you guys out there. They don't like that. They don't like it when you call them to the carpet. They don't like it. They try to use gaslighting. They try to use word salads, put a whole bunch of words together, and when you really look at it, you're going, what does this mean? And
Mm-hmm,
that's what was happening to Barbara over and over. She was so frustrated. She was scared. She came
mm-hmm,
to me and she said, Timmy, I'm so afraid he's going to do something to somebody and they're going to put him in jail. And
right.
they're going to
Yeah.
do a whole bunch of, I said, not on my watch. They're not doing none
Mm-hmm.
of that shit.
That's
And
the
so
worst.
I proceeded to protect him. And it was a fight. I mean, you talk about fighting. Me and Barbara fought all the time. We still fight.
Yeah.
She now says that I do friend abuse. I don't even know. She just made it up. And she calls it friend abuse. And I tell her, I don't care. You don't listen, Linda. So it's not funny. No, Barbara is Barbara. And what you see is what you get.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell Barbara stuff and I'm like, don't say that. I'll tell her stuff, but don't say it like that.
Mm-mm.
Because whatever comes in her head comes out of her mouth. You guys think I don't have a filter? Barbara doesn't have a filter.
Nope.
I don't.
Nope.
She doesn't have a filter if I'm the filter and I'm standing right next to her. But anyway, so we met while he was 12 years old, and from the time I met him, I started my campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and my campaign was to get him evaluated by reputable people who knew what the hell they were talking about. Okay, reputable people meant outside the school district. You see, because the school district, right, Barbara, they have their own agenda.
Yes.
And that's what they were doing to Barbara for years. So what were they telling you all of this time? Up until you met me, what was so frustrating?
Okay. They were hiding and lying about his behaviors. They weren't telling me anything about what he was doing.
Tell them why you really came to me. Tell them about the story, how you found out about his behaviors.
You you asked the what was it called?
No, you don't remember, do you?
It
Think
was
about it. Remember
BCBA.
the parent you were talking
Yes,
to? Yes.
yes. Okay. The parent told me that Sean has a police report filed against him. Okay. The parent, one of my son's students' mother, called me and told me that there was a police report filed against my son without my
And
knowledge.
right. And it was for attacking a little girl.
Correct. One of
And
the peers in the classroom.
right, he targeted this little girl. See, and we didn't know none of this information. Now, by this time, I'm involved. So Barbara calls me up on the phone, and I said, "What? What happened?" I
Mm-hmm.
said, "I want you to skip your little happy ass right down to the police department
Yes.
and go pick up that police report." Now, the school district knew all about this. At
Mm-hmm.
this time, we were asking them to put him in a private school because of his behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
During the meeting, they had a person who did the FBA, and even she said he didn't belong there. They can't handle him. And that was the second time Barbara said "fuck," and she walked out of the meeting. And but that's how we found out how bad the situation really was, and that was Barbara's fear, is that the police were going to get involved with him because the police didn't know about Sean.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know what he was doing in school because they didn't collect any data.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't write anything home because they knew they couldn't handle him. He was going to hurt somebody else's kid. Well, when I found out I had that hot little police report in my hand, and we called a meeting, and I looked at the stupid sped director and I said, "You got 2 seconds to get this kid out of this school right now, or I'm going to go and file against you and we'll have a hearing, and then you can tell it to anybody you feel necessary." Okay, you go ahead. You go play you, I'm gonna do me.
Mm-hmm.
So right after that, we got the papers in our hand. We went and with the we ended up getting independent evaluations they had to fund because they were all stupid. It was like $4,200 for the neuros for all of the evaluations to be done, and then they had to pay for a board certified behaviorist to do a new functional behavioral assessment. She found all kind of dirt
Mm-hmm.
regarding Sean's behaviors that nobody wanted. Then we have a big meeting, so we go in for the meeting, and they're acting as if they don't know that at this moment in time they don't know. We know about the police report. They know about the police report because the police contacted the school to find out about what Sean did. And see, what they do is they just don't say anything, and they think, well, if and it's not because to protect Sean. No, it's protect them because they know if the police if the police couldn't come to Barbara to find out, what was going on with this kid and that there was a report because the school never told her.
Mm-hmm.
The school never, they what's the word I'm looking for? They didn't want to have a conversation with the police about Sean and the complaint that was filed against him. So they just refused to talk to the police altogether. And because they refused to talk to the police, which is in the police report, it says the woman that they talked to, the special ed director, who at the time was Jessica Duncanson, I can't stand her. She's a moron. All she cares about is her paycheck. She was. I mean, we got Jessica. She literally lied and said that her name was not in the police report. And we filed for a hearing. And as soon as I disclosed that police report, they folded like a deck of cards. They just collapsed. And they gave her first private day program. And Alma, did you see what Alma says, Barbara? Good for you, Barbara. They need to know there's a mama bear protecting
Yeah.
them. Oh,
Thank you. Thank you.
She's fierce. Don't poke the
Thank
bear.
you. Yeah.
That bear right there, don't poke her with her kid, especially her baby Sean. And her
But
daughter, Rachel, oh, no, we're not having. And Barbara's like this tall, I kid you not. This tall. She don't care though. She'll take on a whole army behind her kid. She'll call me up and tell me what she's doing. She'll say, you coming? Of course I'm coming.
but as we were going through the process, the BCBA got involved, found all the dirt. Then we had somebody come to the house. Remember that person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't. I forgot about that.
Yeah, she was writing up bogus reports.
Oh, yeah. Didn't
Remember?
I cuss her out? I could have
Yeah.
sworn I cussed her out.
Yeah, you cussed her out. Yeah.
Because she was stupid. Because what they were trying to do is make things. I don't like anybody coming to my parents' homes. And the reason why is when they walk in there, they come in with their own agenda. They come in with their own standards as to how you're supposed to live with your kid. Okay? And what you're supposed to be doing. They're like, I don't know, social workers that work for DCF. And I know this is my based on my personal experience, okay, with DCF. I don't like them either. I just don't. All of my interaction with any DCF was to stop them from taking the kid out of the house. Because all they want to do is take the kid out of the house and force the parents to go through all kind of bullshit. WWTD. Right. What would Tammy do? That's right, Meg. Girl, you're here. So anyway, now, like I said, now this is about transition. I know. But what you guys are seeing right now is how we got from where we were at to where we're at right now. And it was a transition. But not only for Sean, it was a transition for Barbara too. Okay? There is so much involved. And you guys all know how bad it is out there. You guys know. You're part of that nonsense that's going on that they call special education. So what Barbara did is, we're at another meeting. We're at one of the last meetings before they put him in a placement. And the new BCBA did her thing. And while she was doing an observation of her son, they were in a classroom. He had, at this time, because now we have a police report, and we showed it to them. So now they got him with a 1-to-1 aide, and they had an outsider. So they have him with a 1-to-1 aide. And what they said is they were in art. and they put this big heavy metal art table on the other side of him, thinking that he wasn't going to do anything. Well, the BCBA they hired was there. Her son targeted this girl. He kept staring at her and staring at her and staring at her, and the next thing they knew, he went flying over the table and he got that girl again. It was the same girl that the police report was filed on. So he tackled her to the ground. He doesn't know what's going on with his body. He has no idea. Okay, he's a growing boy. He has no idea. And actually, it was in the neuropsych evaluation. It was in the FBA. This is what Barbara was afraid of, okay? That they were going to arrest her son for some kind of sexual abuse or something with her kid. He had no idea what he was doing, okay? Well, can I tell him about his IQ?
Yeah. Go ahead.
He has a 40 IQ. All intents and purposes, he's a toddler in a 12-year-old body. And he's
24.
getting all of these
24.
feelings. Huh?
24 now, right?
Now he's 24. But at that time, he was 12. So he's a 12-year-old. He has a 12-year-old body with a 40 IQ. Okay? It's a hot mess, and it's just the shit is waiting to happen. So, thank you. Oh, you're welcome. Now the struggle is real for most of us. That's right. The struggle is real. But doing things like this lets you guys know you're not by yourself. That it's not just you. I have a lot of parents that's always saying, "Is it?" Your Barbara does it all the time to me. Is it just me? Could you guys tell her it's not just you?
Right.
Could you tell her that? Because she doesn't believe me. She says it to me all the time. They're targeting me. No, they're not. They do this to everybody because they're no good. That's what
they are. They're not. They aren't.
She still tells me they're targeting me all the time. So you guys have to help her understand that she's not by herself and that they do the same kinds of things to them. It might not be the exact same thing, but it's something similar. It's intimidating, it's harassment, and it's retaliatory. And that's what they've done to her. And I was there to put a cold stop to it, and I let them know, you have to get through me to get to her and her kids.
Yeah.
And they backed down every single time. It was like watching Trump all over again. It was like a Trump movie. I'm going to do this. Never mind. That's what they did all the time.
Yeah, it was.
I don't care, and see, and that's why when Barbara tells me friends abuse, I don't care what Barbara says, because this friend right here, she ain't never had a friend like me before. Because I'm telling you right now, I will cuss her out quick when it comes to her kids. Those kids are mine. She forgot. She forgot they're my kids.
I just apologize too. You know that, right? I apologize.
Yeah, oh no, that's what we do all day long. So me and Barbara fight all the time. We go back and forth. She hangs up on me all the time. Don't care. Because I call her right back. Hey. Or she'll call me right back. Hey, what you doing? That's the way it is, because this is a tough business.
It is.
So Alma says, Barbara, I want you to know that I admire you so much for your love and care to your children.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You have to understand that you're not by yourself. Okay? So now we did the evaluation. So now we got everything that's right. They did everything wrong. I destroyed their evaluations. They weren't worth the paper they were written on. I am not kidding. And I told them that to their face. Barbara was like, the Barbara saying fuck on one end and I'm chewing them out on the other end. I mean, each and every single person who had some kind of something, including the special ed director. I just looked at her and said, this is what you people are calling an evaluation? This isn't worth the paper it's written on. It doesn't tell me anything, including what he can and cannot do. I mean, what the hell? Well, it was difficult to evaluate him. It was this. You know what? I bet Mass General Hospital will be able to evaluate him. We're going there. We got 3. He got one just before he left school. Just before he left the program. Or just before he went to Evergreen. He had a neuropsych done. He had so many neuropsychs done at Mass General, they won't do anymore. They said, no, we're done. It is what it is. Okay, good. So we already got him his services anyway, so we're good. But so we ended up getting IEEs, all funded by them, and the placements. So rather than put him right into a residential, we went slow. He was still living at home at this time. But there were things that were coming up, right, Barbara? Like, what were some of the things that were going on at home?
Aggression, property damage. He was escaping the house. He left the house at night while we were sleeping, and we had to get a monitor radio on his ankle, which he destroyed, and
He didn't want it.
he flushed it down the toilet.
Oh,
So,
I remember that.
mhm. So it was getting hard. He lived with us till he was 17, and it got really, really bad.
Wow, it was that long?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, yes, because he was in 3
right.
different
No,
day programs.
he went to the Waltham school first,
That was the
the league school,
well,
the league
that was
school,
the league, right?
right? League
That was the
school,
league.
and then he went to Amigo,
He went to Amigo.
and then Evergreen.
No, there was another one. Well, he did a 45-day, it was
Yes,
called
that's
the
correct.
45-day diagnostic,
Mm-hmm.
in which I made the school pay for him to go to the, what is that school called? The Plymouth?
I don't know. I forget that school. It was a
They're
joke.
the same ding-dongs that did the evaluation that we won in the hearing.
45 days, and they tested him.
45 days, and the teacher came back in this private school, and the teacher
Yep.
came back and he said, he can't be here. He can't do nothing.
No.
He's not anywhere near the level of the kids that are in this program right now.
Mm-hmm.
And see, that's what another thing I wanted you guys to know. You know, when you have a child with a disability, like especially in Massachusetts, one thing about Massachusetts, they are hungry. They're greedy, greedy people. There are more special ed schools in Massachusetts than you could shake a stick at. I kid you not. I swear to God, there must be one for every damn town in Massachusetts. And there's all kinds. What is one advice you would give us parents to do before our kids leave public school? Get them tested, for one thing. They have to be tested.
Yeah. I would suggest highly a neuropsych. You got to give them a neuropsych.
Tell them why,
Neuropsych.
Barbara. Tell them why. Tell them why you
Tell
gotta
them
have a
why.
neuropsych.
Right. I got both of my kids neuropsychs with educational piece. The
So
educational
it does
piece
all of it, right?
does all of it. It
So it
tells them
does
all the
the
levels.
educational piece, it does the social, emotional, behavioral, and like the OT and the PT. Even though the neuropsych doesn't actually, like that person isn't a speech and language pathologist or an OT,
Correct.
but they can tell, so they can make recommendations based on their testing that they do,
Mm-hmm.
which is way more in depth than like the WISC 5, okay, which is an educational, or the Wyatt or the Woodcock Johnson. A neuropsychological evaluation goes way deeper and it pulls in everything. So first get all of your testing done.
Correct.
Then go get a neuropsych. And when you get the neuropsych, you give the neuropsychologist all of these assessments, the IEPs, all of it. All of it. Because that neuropsych, if they're reputable and they don't have nothing to do with the public school, that neuropsych will tell you every little nook and cranny about what your kid can and cannot do in any area. And anybody can read it and see. Okay?
But you know too, Tammy, the school has crappy assessments, as we know. And
well, it's not even the crappy assessments. They use the right ones. Like in your school, they use the right ones. The problem with them is that they modified the assessment, and that's illegal.
Right.
There are some assessments that you could do that with, but with the assessments for your son, like when they did the psychological, there's a certain test they can do, especially because of your kid's IQ. There's a lot of different things they can do. And a school guidance counselor, a school psychologist, they know the same tests I know that they can use for his age. They know. And she delivered. That's why I chewed her out the most. As a matter of fact, when we did the last meeting we did before we placed him in the league, which was a whole nother game plan, a whole bunch of other issues came out of that. The league couldn't handle him either. And the league was all about kids with behaviors and kids on the spectrum. And he was there 1 year, right?
Yeah.
And
he was in the hallway. He was in the hallway all the time, sitting in the hallway.
They thought that was going to work. This is a school that 100% of how they educate kids is based on applied behavior analysis. And wasn't it true that we found out, if this was the right kid, that the person, I think it was the psychologist, wasn't even licensed. We're
Correct.
at the meeting and she wasn't
Right.
licensed.
Right.
And they were then we found out the real deal. Okay, guys, here's a new word. Independent neuropsychologist test. Yes, a neuropsychological evaluation. Okay. So okay. This school I just said was based on was all about autism. Okay. So when you say autism and you have a school, the first thing comes to mind is that it's based on applied behavior analysis. We found out after we placed him, and I had just started hearing about this, and I'm like, so these schools were saying, when we questioned them, I said, so you're using ABA? And they say, well, we're using ABA approaches. And I said, you're using what?
Mm-hmm.
ABA approach. There's no such thing. That's
Mm-hmm.
like being a little bit pregnant, people. You're either using ABA or you're not.
Mm-hmm.
You're making it up as you go along, and you're saying it's based on ABA. It's not based on nothing. It's based on their vivid imaginations because they're lazy.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to hire a BCBA. They're expensive. At the time, I think in Massachusetts, the BCBAs were getting $100 an hour. Kid you not. I know this for a fact because one of my kids, I sued the school, and it was based on the fact that they didn't get any BCBA services, 600 hours. That's a whole year plus. And it was $100 an hour. I got him for $10,000 because I'm good like that without going to him. So now, anyway, so all of this stuff that we're doing with Barbara's kid now, we're not in hearings. So she's landed a 45-day diagnostic. She got her first school, and that's when he turned, what? He was still at home.
Mm-hmm.
It was a
Yes.
45-day diagnostic. He was still at home.
Mm-hmm.
So in 45 days, we found out that school couldn't take him because that was the plan, for him to stay at that school after the 45 days was done. I knew he wasn't staying there. Barbara, do you remember seeing that school?
Yes, I went there.
Yeah. Didn't you say the same thing? I can't remember. When you saw it, you said, John can't do none of this.
It's like,
the teacher was up there teaching.
I just looked at the teacher. I said, what is he doing here? I said, get him out of here. I said,
Remember the teacher was at the front of the class teaching?
he went and targeted one of the teachers at that school,
Oh,
too.
yeah, I forgot. Feeling her up.
Yeah. And I was like, are you kidding me with this? I said, this is all done.
And this is okay.
Over.
Finally, the teacher the teacher in the classroom did come to us and say, there's no way.
Right,
He can't, because when we first got there, they said, well, these kids have been here for a whole year, so they had all the benefits of being here. And I'm looking at him like, yeah, but when they came here, they had some foundational academic skills, correct? He said, yeah. I said, he has none.
Right.
He couldn't count.
But see, he wrote a report that just was completely factual.
Yes.
He says he needs to get out of here right
He needs
now.
to go. And that's how we got him out of there, and we got him into the league. That's another private school. Now, all of these schools cost the district major money. Barbara didn't pay a dime.
Mm-hmm.
Barbara didn't pay for the independence. Barbara didn't pay for the transportation. Barbara didn't, and they picked his ass up, and they
Mm-hmm.
brought his butt to school because they knew better. So, because there's no way. That was the other thing. Weren't they telling you to come pick up your kid because he was just when he was in the public school?
Yes.
And then I found out about that, and I said, you are not to pick up that kid. If
Mm-hmm.
they got one more time to call you to pick up the kid, and what I want you to do is to call the police and call the ambulance and tell them that your kid is in crisis, and they go pick him up. There. Now what? And that proves that the school can't handle your kid. They want you to put your kid, who's dangerous right now,
Mm-hmm.
that they can't handle, in your car to drive him around town to the nearest hospital with nobody else in the car but you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Because they're nuts.
They don't care.
They
It's all
don't
about
care.
the money. It's all about the money.
It's all about the money. But they spent a lot of money on her son.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of money.
Because of a poor decision making on their part. Because
The sad part is, you would think that, all the money they spent, would have made some kind of difference. And
Mhm.
especially would have made you feel like, okay, well, they're doing something. But for them, it's all about the money. And for you, it's not. Miss Barbara, what are your thoughts about Robert Kennedy Jr., Secretary?
Is he smoking some doobie?
He's not.
What's the purpose of that? And it's none of his business.
Well, he has his own thoughts about autism, too.
He's on drugs.
If he's not, he should be. At least he would have an excuse, right?
And he's my kid. You know what? He's got to go through you and me to get the information, because it ain't going to happen.
No, he's not getting that.
That's bogus. That's private information. That's none of his business.
The fact that he's saying, he said something about autism, and it's, what was it, Alma? I know he said something about autism, and I think it was about the shots. He's blaming it on shots again. That's been totally disproven, and I know there's some people that still believe it. However, I just got a shot today, the pneumococcal thing. I should be autistic tomorrow. Because my arm is killing me. I'm just saying. I'll be autistic tomorrow. Not to mention all the other stupid COVID
like
shots.
This, right?
Right. Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you, I don't know.
If I didn't get autism, if I wasn't autism, if I didn't get autism because of the COVID shot, there's no such thing.
But what is his reasoning here? I'm serious.
He's stupid. His people, the Kennedy family, I can't even imagine. One of the Kennedys created oh my God, it's a program. See, now I gotta look it up.
But
it's a program for kids with special needs.
Alma said he said our kids will never hold a job or pay taxes. What the hell does that mean?
The Special Olympics. The Special Olympics. That's what I think it was Eunice Kennedy.
Yeah.
Who did the special? Oh no, yes, Eunice Kennedy. She came up with Special Olympics. I believe she had a daughter who was developmentally challenged.
Okay.
So for this, that was, I believe that. See, now I'm gonna. I think Eunice Kennedy. Yes, I think that's his sister. Eunice was his sister, and that's how he thinks. Robert Kennedy, his father, didn't think like that at all. The Kennedys have all but disowned his dumb ass. He sounds like a nut. And his family said he is not.
I don't like the way he talks. I like the way he looks. That is not up.
Well, what's scary is he looks a lot like his daddy.
Business. My kid, my son, my daughter.
Said our kids will never. Yeah, that's because he's stupid, and he doesn't know any better. Because if he knew anything, he would know Temple Grandin. I mean, there's so many people.
What are they going to? What's he going to do?
That's right. I remember that, Alma.
What's his intention? Is it going to deport the kids now, the adults?
Well, here's the thing: they're cutting everything under the sun, so they're never going to. His position is they're never going to have a job, and they're never going to have to pay taxes. How are they going to live then? Because you just cut everything else. You and your entourage over there, those idiots, have just cut everything. I'm telling you guys, I think I want to go do one of the marches, the 50-51. It's the 50, what is it? 50 protests and 50, no, what is it? 50, it's 50-51. Now I got to go look that up.
But that's the thing. We have to protect, Sean.
It's called the 50-51 movement. Yep.
We got to
50 protests. This is what it's called. I want to do this. 50 protests, 50 states, one day. That's why they're all over the place. And they're having a heart attack over there in Congress. Because there's an uprising and they don't know what to do. And they're peaceful and they're happy. What is next? We have to hide out our children. Yes. That's what they did before, Alma. Before IDEA.
Yeah. I mean,
these kids, I was in school. I was in public school. And what they did with these kids, first of all, you rarely saw a kid with a disability. Rarely in a public school. Mm-hmm. And if they were in a public school, they were in the resource room. You know, the resource room is the dumping area where all of the kids, they put all of these kids in this one room. Mm-hmm. Okay. And what they did is nobody got an education. Some of the kids were just, they were constantly in trouble. They didn't have a disability other than their discipline problems. Or they had a disability. And that's where they put them because they didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to teach them. And half the time, the person in the room didn't even have teaching credentials. So there was no special education. When I was in school, special education didn't come about as far as what it is now, idea, until 1977. I graduated from high school.
In those years too, there was more protection against animals than there were our children.
Yeah, still.
I mean,
That's why I tell people, I'm sorry that I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but here's what I know. My way works.
Yeah.
My way works. There's only so much I'm going to take, and that's why I have taken a back seat. And I tell parents, this is what you do. Write this, send this email, and tell them this. And then all of a sudden, they're paying attention.
Yes.
Because they're like, one of the things they'll say to you is, who are you talking to? I've actually had schools ask parents, who are you talking to? And I tell them to respond with none ya. It's none your damn business who I'm talking to. And I take exception to that.
Something about you, Tammy. Since Sean's gone into the resident, adult residence, you always, every day, where is the signed consent? You're always on that. Always.
Oh, I found something about consent.
So, I mean, every single day you say, where's the signed consent, Barbara? Did you sign it? I'm like, no.
No.
And this is what I'm saying. If Kennedy is going this way, he's going to have to get my consent.
Well, no, because they're just going to say you don't have any rights. And see, that's why I said we're going to go do a march. And I'm going to do one. If I'm going to find one, and I'm going to go, and I'm going to take pictures. I'm going to show you guys where I'm at. I'm going to do all of that because this has got to stop. And I think we're close. We're close because they're going to impeach his ass. And when they impeach him, everything's going to fall because here's the thing, guys. What's happening right now in this country is people are standing up and they're saying enough is enough. This is ridiculous. Nobody, even the ones that voted for him, didn't vote for this. Okay, so the people that are backing him in Congress, the only reason why they're licking his hiney hole is because that's disgusting. But the only reason why they're doing it is because of his base. Well, now his base is gone. He don't have a base. He don't have no power.
So I want to point something to Elma. I get her, what she's saying, but you got to remember history of what they did to special needs kids in Germany.
Germany.
I mean,
don't go watch a video at DDS. Don't watch one of them videos. I'm telling you, I worked in a group home, and we had to do these things, and we had to watch these videos. And I'm telling you guys, I said out loud, a room full of people, and I mean a room. It's like 30, 40, 50 people in there. We all had to take the training. And I said, we're all going to hell.
Yes.
God does not, he's not, we're going to hell for this.
Yeah.
And then the presenter said, well, Timmy, it was a different time. I said, I don't care what time it was. I know this. Yeah. Those are people. And this is what other people did to them because of their narrow-minded, disgusting beliefs. They're just stupid.
Alma, you are absolutely right. Tammy is the best. You got that straight.
I told her a long time ago.
You got that, Alma.
In order to get to her kids, they got to go through me. And I'm living in Pennsylvania, and they can't get through me now. They still can't get back. They're like, what is this bitch doing? No.
Yeah.
I don't care. Yeah. So anyway, we got him in this other program. Okay. Now, every single program that we placed him in, that we got for free, that the school district had to fund. First of all of them were between 100 and it's a day program, so it was like between $100 and $160,000 a year, plus transportation, which is enormous depending on where you're at. So that contract. So okay. So let's say it's been 200,000. It's between 100 and 200,000, 250,000 from the time he was 12 until he aged out of everything. Okay. So all of this stuff is going on. So, we're sitting there, we're having IEP meetings and we're saying, Barbara's telling him, well, I want him to learn how to do this, this, and this. Like, what did you want him to do, Barbara, to learn how to do?
God, I can't really remember exactly.
Yeah, it's hard because Sean the one focus that you had that I remember had to do with his behaviors.
Yeah, I mean,
you didn't care about nothing
that's
else.
the top of it, right?
You just wanted him to
So,
be safe. Yeah.
so this is what we started with. Okay, my concern was his behaviors. Okay, they were off the charts. Okay, so when he got into teenage, it started to develop more and more and more aggression, property damage
Towards women.
towards women. Right.
Sexually.
So right. So I mean, this poor kid didn't understand what was going on. His cognitive levels are very, very low. So the people who are in charge of this weren't doing their job correctly. They were making up bogus reports. The BCBA was nowhere to be found. The special ed directors making up bogus reports. Nobody, nobody's doing their job, but they're getting paid. So here I
Well,
have,
Amigo was pretty good.
yes, Amigo was one of the best.
Amigo was the best out of all of them, but
Yeah.
Amigo couldn't handle him.
No.
They just couldn't handle him. They took it as far as they could. The girl there, I can't remember. They had BCBAs there, and I knew the guy that ran the Amigo program, and I think he's since left, but I hated his guts.
I
mean,
know.
I couldn't stand him, but
Stop, yeah.
I told him, I can't stand you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was misogynistic, and he didn't mess with me too much because I was taller than him. And I told him I'll punch him right in his face. I didn't care.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
he knew his shit when it came to
Mm-hmm.
behavior analysis. He could explain it to you. He could tell you what they were going to try to do. He put it all in writing. All of it was in writing. But there was only so far they could take him because by
Right.
this time, he's getting closer to being 17 than anything else. So these behaviors are now impacting not only his school and education, and other people around him, but also at home. So what were you worried about at home?
Oh, it was about the community. You know,
In the
he was
community,
getting
yeah.
out. He was getting out, escaping from the window. He broke our window. He was getting out from the door. We couldn't leave him alone. We had to be with him all the time.
What
And
about your daughter?
yeah, that too. Yeah, we
You
had to
worried
tell
about-
her to lock her door.
She had to lock her door. Is she afraid of him right now?
No,
She's
no.
not. Okay, good. But
I
he
mean,
hasn't
that's
been
the
home in
thing.
years.
Like we told the school he cannot come home. He cannot come home. Okay, because these people are in la la land. I said, if you
I mean,
did
he
your
would
job,
need like two extra people in your house just to deal with him.
well, I told them, I said, you're not doing your job. You're not doing parent training. I asked for parent training.
Yep.
They wouldn't do it.
Yep.
Why?
I think they did it.
They did it at Amigo.
They did it at Amigo. They did it at Amigo. Like I said, Amigo was good for that stuff, and they didn't have a problem doing it.
Right.
And they knew the school didn't want him to do it, but they did it anyway because we had him. By then, the police report, I was handing it out like it was a dinner invitation.
Flyer,
Oh
yeah.
I was handing it out to everybody. Every time we went somewhere, we said, "This is what he's doing," just so you know, just so you're clear. And dude was cool, but he came back and he said, "Yeah, no, Timmy, we're done." I said, "Okay." So then we had to find another placement for him. Alma says, "Oh my God, really? I am already getting mad. I'm so sorry, Barbara." Barbara, one thing about her, she's strong. Okay, she just, okay, what? We got a problem? Okay. Timmy, fix it.
Well, no.
And then I fix it, and she'd be like, okay.
I do work.
But no, you do. Now you do a lot of work. Because I make you.
Mhm.
But in the beginning, it was hard. No, it was hard because I had to train you. I had to train you about a lot of stuff, and you had a lot of other stuff going on.
I told you this before. I said, I wish you never taught me any of this because every time I read a report, I cringe.
Yeah.
Or I
You
read
know
an
what to look
email
for.
because Tammy taught me
And you know
of what to look for and the signs. And I said, Tammy, I'm so mad right now. She said, what happened, Barbara? I said, you taught me this. Now I know what to look for.
She said, do you see what this report says? And I'm like, I already knew that, but it has to be in writing.
But see, this is what Tammy taught me and what to see in these reports. These reports were lying about his behavior, and they were covering them up.
Or just not, they weren't even saying anything, like they didn't even exist. And that's why Barbara on the second meeting cussed him out and said, banged her fist on the table again, yelled out, fuck.
Yeah, I was like, fuck this shit, and I walked out.
She walked out, and I'm sitting next to the assistant sped director, and I'm looking at Barbara walk out the door. I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm laughing. And then the guy looks at me and he says, well, Tammy, if she promises, now mind you, picture this. We're having a meeting. They're not listening. We already found out about the police report. And the story keeps getting worse. And Barbara got mad and she walks out the door. She said, they're not going to do anything. I said, oh, they're going to do something. Watch. But Barbara got mad. She walked out. So she wasn't thrown out of the meeting. This is where the gaslighting comes in, okay? So the special ed director looks at me and he says, well, if she promises, if she promises not to have any, outbursts like that, we can continue with the meeting. So I'm sitting at the table and I go, hey, Barbara. She said what? She turned around. The door's already open. Barbara's out. Almost one more foot, she was over the door. I said, hey, Barbara. She said, what? I said, Barbara, are you not going to have any outbursts? I'm going to have lots of outbursts. She said, I'm not doing that. I said, well, I guess the meeting's over. He was like, what? I said, oh, no, we're not having no meeting. So I got up, and I'm laughing, because I'm like, Barbara just ended the meeting. And I walked out, and he's like, what? I said, okay, let me tell you what you're going to do. You're going to have this meeting without us. You're going to send me all of the paperwork. I want all of the paperwork, and I want it by the date the law says you have to give it to us, so we can make a decision. Until then, he stays here. God forbid something happens. Well, that's what happened. That's the other thing that happened. So, we tried to get him, that's how we got him in the diagnostic. It was through a hearing. I filed a hearing. I filed for a hearing because they refused to put him in the diagnostic. So we go to hearing, okay? So we have a pre-hearing conference call. And it was Ray Oliver. He was a hearing officer at the BSEA. He was assigned to our case. So Ray Oliver, and the first thing I sent was the police report. So I send the police report over as part of my evidence that I wanted him in that thing until we can determine, we need assessments done to figure out what his placement's going to be. So the school said, no, we're not doing that, yada, yada, yada. So I said, let me tell you something right now. And I told the hearing officer, if anything happens to my client or somebody else because of my client, I'm giving all of the paperwork that I have to the person that my client hurt, and I'm going to testify against the school district. And I'm going to testify that the school district knew everything and set these kids up to be hurt.
Yep.
Ray Oliver said, he said to the school district, he said, if I was you, she means it. She's going to do it. She don't care. He said, she's going to do it. And if I was you, even if for nothing else other than what she said, because she means it, she's going to do it. If anything happens, it's going to be, you're not going to have to worry about a hearing. It's going to be about who's suing you because you knew all of this stuff. She's right. And he said, if I was you, I put him in the 45-day diagnostic. At least he's safe for 45 days. And so are your other students. So at least you have that.
He didn't even make it 45 days.
No, he didn't make the 45 days. They kicked him out. But from there, because of what that guy said, he went to the league. He went to Amigo for a year. But yeah, that's what we had to do. I had to threaten them that I was going to expose everything. I was going to give all of the records, including the police report. It was 2 police reports too. That mother filed 2 criminal complaints against Barbara's kid. 2 criminal complaints, and the school knew that the police report was sitting there. What they didn't know is that we could get a copy of it. You see, you can get copies of things from the police department. That's your kid. But these idiots that work at the department, at all of the schools across the nation, they don't believe that you have any rights. They believe they are the higher authority, and that whatever they say goes until they meet me, and then I school them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, see,
And then they're going,
I had two of advocates before you. Okay, they didn't do anything compared to what you did. They befriended the school district. They became friends. And there goes Sean down the toilet.
so now he doesn't,
He
because
has no
they're
right.
worried about the next kid. That's what a lot of advocates do. First of all, like what I told Barbara, I said, what do you mean they didn't do anything? Because I was, I was new on the scene too. I hadn't been doing it that long when I met Barbara.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I was trained. I was self-taught. I knew what the laws were. A lot of advocates don't even know what the laws are. Not only do they not know what the laws are in their state, they don't know what the laws are, federal laws, that I tell you guys about all the time. If you don't know the laws that protect these kids, what the hell are you doing?
Yes.
You're having a conversation with the school district trying to coerce them into doing it. What leverage are you using? If you don't know what the laws are. You just go into a meeting talking about you can't do this. Of course they can.
Mm-hmm.
You come with no leverage whatsoever. And so they're not afraid of you. They're barely afraid of me, and I got all kind of leverage on these numbnuts.
Well, that's the thing. Like you said,
even when you have it, you got to keep pushing. Then you got to push on somebody else. I watched this program. I used to watch it all the time. It's called Leverage. Now they have it on Leverage Redemption. And it's all about behavior and reading people. And it's all about robbing Peter to pay Paul. So what this company does is, for people watching, please subscribe. Thank you so much, Alma. With this, I love this show because it gives me ideas. I get inspired by the strangest things. But I learn stuff. Like I watch MSNBC, I learn about laws. Okay, I watch this guy on YouTube. It's called The Midas Touch. I watch another one on YouTube. It's called Legal AF, and it's all about the crap that's going on right now. It's all about motions. It's all about and they do it in little teeny short snippets. So they explain the motion. They tell you why you can write the motion. They tell you about an injunction. They tell you all the stuff that you guys can use if you have to go to court. If you want to enforce your mediation agreement, if it actually has stuff in there that's enforceable, you need to watch the show because it tells you everything.
I remember something, Tammy, very beginning of our meeting one another. I had no idea of my rights as a parent, none. And I was going
two advocates before me.
Yes,
that means to me, because when I saw his file, I wanted to know who the advocates were because I just wanted to call them up and ask them what the fuck. Because now a lot of these advocates, they charge major loot, like $125 an hour.
Yeah.
And even if you have a lawyer, so it really doesn't, just so we're clear, even if you have a lawyer, there's no guarantee the lawyer's going to win for you. And even if the lawyer wins, the lawyer's not going to win what you want for your kid. The lawyer's going to win what he thinks he could win for you. Okay? So he has to make sure he doesn't piss off the hearing officer or a judge because he's got to go in front of those people again. I actually had a lawyer tell me that. Okay? So this is why I say, you're your best representative. You're your best mouthpiece. Okay? Barbara found out. She was like, I can't believe you know all of this stuff. How come the other, and then she's asking, I don't understand. How come the other advocates didn't know this? I have no idea.
Nobody told me my rights. Nobody told me my rights as a parent.
And they'll say, oh, they gave you the brochure. The brochure? So you got to go read all these laws. You don't even know what the hell you're reading. You have to understand that these people, I actually did a what do you call it?
A video?
I did a video on how to hire an advocate. Okay, there's one out there. And it talks about you interviewing the advocate. But if you don't know what an advocate's supposed to do, then how are you going to interview them? You know what I mean? You just got to take their word for it. And unfortunately, there are some unsavory people out there that'll or they actually believe their own hype. I mean, they might really believe that what they're doing is good and it's helping when in actuality, it's not. Because if the kid doesn't get the services that the kid rightly deserves, and you don't know, and your advocate doesn't know how to file a complaint, or your advocate doesn't know how to file for due process, then why are you hiring her? To do what exactly? Go talk? Right. You can talk. You can
But
talk.
that's the thing too, and knowing the laws and knowing what you can and cannot do. The thing is, okay, something I was taught from Tammy is that you cannot take all for one person to do all the work. You can't. You pay somebody to do something, but you got to realize something. If you get a lawyer, you're paying a lot of money. You're paying what, $400, $500 an hour for all the work he's doing. You got to realize he has a lawyer, he has a paralegal, and it's
It costs a
you
lot.
and the advocate. That's all there is.
And you can win. You can win. Barbara's son had 4 placements. And the last one, was for a 4-year residential placement in a private special ed school that cost $1 million. Okay. Now we're telling you all of this because we're giving you some background.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what didn't happen for Sean, we want to make sure it happens for you. So you'll have the warning signs. And I mean, there's a lot of things that I already knew going. I told Barbara, didn't I tell you?
Yep.
Don't think for 1 second that because your son aged out of public school, that going into the public sector like the Department of Developmental Disabilities is going to be a cakewalk. Not so much. It's the same. It's the same laws. They're basic. The ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, kicks in when you're a kid. Usually, now there's some of the law that can kick in when your kid is under 22, but for the most part, it's the Americans with Disabilities Act and Section 504. Okay, those are the laws instead of IDEA. Okay, but and then you, instead of dealing with the public school system, you're dealing with a public agency like the Department of Developmental Services, the Department of Mental Health, the Department of Public Health. Those are all of the human service agencies. That's what you're dealing with instead of the public school. But it's the same process. You have to do eligibility. You have to do testing. You have to do the application process. You have to do all kinds. The only thing you don't have to do with special education is an application process, because that just entails an evaluation to determine eligibility, which is pretty much the same thing he had to do once he turned 22. Okay, Barbara had to go through all that process too.
Mm-hmm.
So, Anna, hi Anna, Tammy, I have already 5 complaints filed, but the investigator, ISBE, here in Illinois, told us that we have to hold the IEP meeting first because it's coming up next week. No, you don't. You tell the investigator, okay, this is what I want you to do. You tell the investigator you're going to contact OSA. Send what you just sent me. Send what you just sent me to OSA. They're open, by the way. OSAP's open. And you CC it to that investigator who told you that. That's what you do. Because that's not how it works. Massachusetts just got busted for doing all kind of crazy shit like that. It's not true. Because you can have, I don't know what they're doing. He thinks that because if you do the team meeting, it's going to resolve everything. No. You tell that numbnut, okay, that they got 60 days to do the investigation. And if they don't, they're in violation. And the next complaint is going to be against them. And I'm going to show you how to go after them for this. Tell them to go look at the, it's called, oh God, you guys. Wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute, guys. SCA, general, supervision. Wait a minute. There we go. Okay, honey, I'm going to send you a link. Okay? And what you're going to do, you're going to go. What you're going to do is you're going to copy this link, Share a referral link. What? Oh, this is new. I can do it this way too. Oops. Okay. What I need you to do is, I need you to copy and paste this whole thing. Okay, what I just posted out there. Put it in, and what it tells them is what their job function is. What the SEA is supposed to do, and you go look up dispute resolution state complaint. Okay, you do that. All right, and you tell that man that that's the complete opposite of what OSEP said. You have 60 days to file a complaint without any contingencies. If in the event you have the IEP meeting and if the issues are resolved, you can pull your complaints, every last one of them. But you tell him, until then, the law says you got 60 days from the day I filed this. And then what you do is you send an email to OSEP. This is how you do it. You send an email to OSEP and you say, this is what the investigator from ISBE told me, that I have to have the team meeting before. And as a matter of fact, I'll get you one better. Ask that asshole to send you the law that says that. Because tell him you got something that you're going to send him that OSEP came up with. Tell him that in 2023. Tell him that. Mm-hmm. And I'll say, but you got it right there. Okay? And Massachusetts just got in trouble for that. Mm-hmm. And if I'm not mistaken, I bet you I'll find out ISBE too. Then they did the same thing. Tell them, are you sure about this? Because that's not what OSEP said. That's all you have to say. Am I right? And whoever you contact at OSEP. Okay?
And that's another thing. Tammy's told me about putting things in writing. They don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. No, because you'll catch them in a lie.
That's right.
You'll catch them in a lie and
catch them in a lie. And they don't even know they're lying. That's the sad part. They don't even know that they don't know what they're talking about. They actually believe their own invented stories, like that investigator. That's not true. I can't believe he even said that to you.
Yeah.
After that, we still are not satisfied. No, you tell him, no, that's not the way that's not how any of this works. Send an email with what that man sent to you. Okay. Send it to OSEP and say, during a conversation at the Illinois, yada, 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 I was told that I had to have the IEP meeting before they would investigate any of the complaints I filed. Mm-hmm. And to put the date that you filed them. If you want, attach them.
Yep. No,
so that OSEP has it on file.
Ask authority.
And let me tell you what's going to happen. OSEP's going to come back. And they're going to tell you all the stuff that they have to do. And it's going to say 34 CFR 300.151, 152, and 153. And none of it says that. Mm-hmm. There's only 3 laws under pre-RS. 3. In mediation, you tell them, I don't want to mediate. The IEP meeting is not mediation. You tell them you're confused. Mm-hmm. That's what you tell them you're confused. You say that's how you address it to OSEP. You don't say nothing to that moron. Okay? Right. You send the email over to OSEP and you say, I filed 5 complaints and the ISB investigator, yada, yada, yada man or woman, told me that I have to have an IEP meeting first, and then, if nothing is resolved, then they'll do the 5 complaint investigation. Is that how this works under the law? And they're going to say no. And then that dickhead's going to get the email because you put his name in it.
There you
That's
go.
how you do it.
Yep. Put it in writing because they're lying.
They're lying.
They're lying.
I'm telling you guys something right now. If these people tell you the sky is blue, go out and check. Mm-hmm. Go out and check. Because I'm telling you, it's probably black. Okay?
Because they're crazy. Yeah. They'll lie to cover their own butts because they don't care about your kid.
Oh, no. Okay. Anna, listen to me very carefully. I'm going to punch you. She told you that over the phone? What did I tell you people to do when people tell you shit over the phone?
Email.
You say. It's called contemporaneous notes. Do you know that's how Donald Trump, the first impeachment, that's how he was impeached? Because James Comey, wrote down everything Donald Trump said to him
There you go.
the day he said it. That's how we got impeached, and then Comey released it to the Congress.
Email.
Impeached his ass.
Yeah, there you go. Write it in the email. Da.
Email them.
Dates, time,
them.
everything.
So and like I say, you say, hello, during our conversation today, just so I'm clear. Just so I'm clear. That's so I'm clear. You say, during our conversation today, you said, yada, yada, yada. Is that correct? I just want to make sure I'm correct. Because that's not my understanding of what your job function is. That's all you have to say. I'd appreciate a response. And then you keep the thread. Keep it moving.
Keep going.
Okay? Keep building on it. Right, Barbara?
Yes. I want to tell you something to all the moms and parents out there. Email.
Per our conversation. That's right, girl.
Email all the time. You back up what they said on the phone all the time.
Barbara, what did I used to do? Do you remember what I used to do to you before emailing became real popular with me? What did I used to say, Barbara, take this down there. What did I tell you? And what did I tell you?
Get it stamped. Yep. Get it stamped. You told me.
Because I wasn't really using email back then. So what I was telling all my clients is, okay, I want you to take this piece of paper.
Yeah.
I want you to bring it down to those morons. I want you to give it to them. And you tell them, good. Could you stamp this that you received it and make a copy of the stamped one and give it to me for my records?
Correct.
And they would do it every single time. Do you know one of those stupid people from Pembroke? If I'm not mistaken, it was Pembroke. And it might have been another school, but I sent them something. And I told them, you didn't answer the thing. Yeah, whatever it was. And this crazy woman gets on the phone and she says, I am so sick of you. You are always doing this. You always get on the phone and you're all nasty and we never got that paper, blah, 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 blah. I said, you never got the paper? Really? I said, then why do I have it in my hand with a stamp on it from your school district? Right. Do you want to say it? I can fax it to you. It was a consent form. Because they said they never got the consent form. So I made Barbara go down there. Yeah. And so then she came out when I sent her mine. She said, oh, I'm sorry. She called me back. She said, oh, I'm sorry. She said, it was on so-and-so's desk and she went on vacation and it was buried. I said, I don't care where it was. You're late. I said, now you're past the timeline. So don't get mad at me because you people don't want to do your job.
Exactly. So that's what it is.
Check.
You got to keep everybody in check.
Yeah, because even the secretaries, they think they got all kind of power. Secretaries, they think they got power too. They got no power. The secretary of a public school. What are you doing?
To this very day, I email every single effing day.
Everything. Barbara's getting so good at writing emails. I'm so proud of her because sometimes Barbara put an email together and I was like, woo, you can't write like you talk. You can't do it. Writing has to be better. It has to be more clear. It's got to be structured properly. So over the years, I've shown her and she's doing it. And I just the other day, I thought, wow, that was good. And she wrote the whole thing by herself because you have to stick to the point. That's the other thing. That's how we get them. Yeah. That's how that's how we got all the placements for her kid. Okay? But even with all of that, Sean gets kicked. They only let him do 1 year in each private school until finally we had to put him in a residential. Now, all of this time, Sean has absolutely no ADL skills at all. He can't put on his, and there's no reason why. Because Sean can move his arms, his hands, he can catch a ball, he can walk and kick a ball, he can do all kinds of stuff. But he can't put on his clothes. And you know why? Because nobody taught him. His mother tried to teach him before he knew how to do some of this stuff when he was at home. Then he went to these stupid schools, he can't do nothing now.
Yeah.
And they think that's okay. Because, they're just going to put him in a group home and the mother's not going to come see him anymore. And that'll be that. And then the group home people, they'll have full control. Somebody else will be making money off of Sean. That's what they do. Yeah. That's why they do it. That's why. You guys have to stick your 7.5s up their hiney holes. And all you have to do is create a paper trail. You call them on everything they do. If it doesn't sound right, it ain't right. It's just not right. Think about it. I want you to think about something. So you filed 5 complaints on a whole bunch of different shit. And this moron tells you the only way he can do the complaint investigation is if you go have an IEP meeting. And the moron, his job, think about this. His job is to investigate your allegations that the school district violated IDEA regulations. So where's the law that says that shit he said to you? Where is it? I can't even tell you. Next week, I'm going to read you the email that after that January report came out from OSEP that I sent to every single investigator and the parents. Okay? Barbara was on that list, I think. And the parents. Yeah, Barbara was. To let them know, told you so. I knew I was right. None of you are no good. I cussed them out so bad it was disgusting.
Yeah.
And I liked it. And I'm going to do it again. Because they're never going to stop. This is what you guys have to get through your head. It's not going to stop. They're not going to wake up and have an epiphany. It'll get a little bit better. But at the same time, you always got to stay on your toes. You always got to be able to look at the big picture. And Barbara does it all the time. I mean, Barbara.
What?
Barbara's so worried about her kid. There's a big thing going on in this group home, and I'll tell you that's part of this whole thing. Because her son doesn't have any skills, you know, they just treat him like he's part of furniture or something. And so Barbara wanted to check something out, and she thought the best way to do that would be Easter Sunday at 7:00 in the morning without calling anybody. So she woke the entire house up because she wanted to see if her kid was walking around with pull-ups. And he's 24 because they never put a wet thing on the bed to keep him from. That's so crazy. I created a monster.
Okay,
so let me
let me get in detail there. Okay, so this is a situation.
I know, Alma.
My son, right? He's been in this program for 4 years. I took care of his bedroom one time. Again, I've done it several times. His bed was just ruined. The shocks in the mattress were gone because they didn't cover his bed because he's wetting the bed. Now, this is a complete oversight from the residents. They didn't check him.
This is in the group home, guys, not residential.
Okay. So Tammy forced herself and said, listen, if you don't give him a new mattress, I'm going to force it.
No, that's not what I did.
Well, you did.
This is what I did.
So
this is how you get them, Anna. See, this is what I do. That's right. A good Anna. Everything else I haven't. Good. That's all you have to do. So what I did when she told me, I said, because the one other thing that we're doing now is we're taking pictures. Taking pictures of her son. Taking pictures of the room. We're taking pictures of the clothes. So Barbara goes over there one day to clean his room. She goes to make the bed and check it out and stuff. And the bed is toe up from the flow up. I mean, it's a hot mess. She sends me the picture, and I said, oh, really? So I wrote an email. I said, copy and paste this and send it, and send the pictures with it. And the question was, who's responsible for getting him a new mattress? Is it me? Is it DDS? Or is it the program? Please advise ASAP. 2 days later, Barbara gets an email. And it says, we just purchased him a new mattress. Got him a new mattress. We got him this. We got him that. Oh, yeah. Everything good. But Barbara had to go in there and take pictures. Now they're mad because Barbara did a surprise visit. So they sent Barbara an email talking about, oh, no, you're going to have to make appointments to come here 24 hours ahead of time. Right there. She's not doing none of that stupid shit. What you're going to do is send them an apology letter. I will never do that again. And that's all you say. You don't say nothing else. You just say, I apologize for coming that early. It will never happen again. That's all you say. You don't go into detail about next time, 24 hours, because none of that's happening. Lisa Saba done lost her goddamn mind.
Mhm.
I'm not
So
feeling too good,
I got
guys,
an
today, so I'm
I
swearing a
got
little bit more.
I got an email with the bill of how much the mattress cost.
What?
Yeah, I got a bill. They sent me the bill of how much the mattress cost.
No, 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 no. We're
Hmm.
not doing that. They said they bought the mattress. You
They
sent it
did.
back to them.
Right, right. So they proven to me that they got the wet sheet with the mattress, which she
Oh,
never
that's
told
why
me.
they sent you a copy of it
Right,
to let you know that they bought the mattress. Okay.
right.
Yeah, because you got them on their toes. Another thing that happens, since you guys don't, because I know you guys don't believe shit can happen. And I yelled at Barbara earlier because a couple of days ago, because sometimes she's so pissed off at what they're doing. She doesn't see the good that happens. Like, she's not putting it all together when it happens. So I have to tell her, okay, so we filed with the protective persons thing against
DPC.
the program where he lives. Because what was I gonna say? Because he was doing crazy shit over there and they weren't trained properly. He got hit in the head with a chair and he has a seizure disorder. They didn't tell Barbara for 2 days. It was a big mess. So we filed against them. And the report came back and said that, you have to contact the nurse, the company nurse, yada yada yada. Well, Barbara just finds out he's been there for 3 years. We ain't heard nothing about this nurse until the agency that did an investigation brought up the nurse. Barbara just found out that the nurse at this program just started working there 2 months ago. Now we hear about her all the time. They never had a nurse. Or they never rehired one. I don't know what they did. But they didn't have a nurse. Then I got mad and I went digging about these programs and stuff. I mean, it never ends. It never stops. And it's unfortunate about all the work you guys have to do. But, like I said, that's what I do here. Whenever you want to find something out, even if it's in your state and you don't think I can find it, I will find it. And if I can't find it, I know who to reach out to for me who can find it. Okay? Like there was a thing about earlier about consent. And some stupid school district is telling a mother that they're going to get consent from a 14-year-old to release her records to a third party. And I'm like, you can't do that. Well, I was talking to one of my friends and she was like, Tammy, they can't do that. That's under FERPA. And it's a law, and the law says, oh yeah, this is how bad they are. The law says that they can get consent from the kid. And then there's a comma. Unless the parent objects. That's what the law says. So they take out pieces of the law because they don't think you guys are going to look it up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the kind of shit you're up against. My son wrote a letter to his special ed teacher. This place is like a prison. I can't wait to get out of this godforsaken place. My grandpa died yesterday. Aww. And things are really being rough for me. How can I use this letter in court to help my son? What are you looking to do, Alma? In court, I mean. Why would you take that to court? I don't get it. I don't know. I honestly don't know how you could do that. In a special ed hearing, you might be able to use it, but I don't suggest a special ed hearing ever. I barely, the only thing that I like are complaints. You can take that letter and you can say, this is what my kid needs, and he needs this help right now. But I would have to know everything, like what are you trying to get out of it? What do you think you could get? If you tell me that, maybe I could help you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so the next placement we ended up with Sean, and this is where I'm going to stop. I'm just going to talk about the placement, and then we're going to continue this next week.
Mm-hmm.
Was called the Evergreen Ink School. Now, the Evergreen Ink School, we thought was going to help. Everybody in there that worked there basically was a board certified behavior analyst. The owner is a BCBA with a PhD. So we thought that, one of the things that's in his IEPs was to teach him, ADL skills, um, safety skills, get him out in the community so that he could, and that's one of the things nobody wanted to do, was to do anything to get him out in the community. In fact, when they did the functional behavioral assessment, they didn't include the community. They decided they weren't going to do it, which is what got them in trouble. Because just before we left, he left, just before he left that school, we got them to do an evaluation and we found out a whole bunch, and I got the transcript here. I mean, the shit that was said was unbelievable. The BCBA that was in charge of everything, she wasn't even a BCBA. She said, I don't have my certification. I said, so you're providing BCBA services, but you're not and get this. The special ed director was sitting at the table. She heard what this woman testified to. So her job was to monitor to make sure they were implementing the IEP. But how are you implementing the IEP if the person just said, I'm not a BCBA? But we didn't know any of this. I had my suspicions because they were twits and they were writing up stuff that didn't make any sense. They were forcing meetings in the middle of the year because they said, this is what you have to do. We would tell Jessica Duncanhead, we would tell her, and she would act like, oh no, you have to do it. No, you don't. And what are you doing? And so Massachusetts got in trouble in January because that's one of the things they got in trouble for. Not monitoring the implementation of IEPs for kids that they placed in a private school that they're funding. That's what they got in trouble for.
They called them 6 months meetings that were bogus.
Yeah, 6 months. We never went. I went one time, and we went one time. My father was in the hospital, and I did the meeting in one of the lobbies at the hospital. And these crazy ass people said, well, what we can do is we can get guardianship of him, and then you don't have to worry about it. I said, over my dead body, are you ever getting guardianship? When he turns 18, believe me, I'm telling you, she will have guardianship the same day he turns 18.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And guess what, Barbara, what happened?
I got guardianship. Mm-hmm.
I did the paperwork from here.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? Ever since 2020, it's even easier than it was before. I can do it. You can do it anywhere in the United States. So I got all of her paperwork together. Gave her the papers, told her exactly what to do, what to bring to the courthouse. She took all of the paperwork. She went down to the courthouse. She filed the paperwork damn near for free. She got temporary guardianship that day. She saw the judge that day. She got temporary guardianship that day. The judge says, you have to come back in 90 days.
Mm-hmm.
By then, the court assigned her son, their attorney, his own attorney, because that's what they have to do. And then the attorney talked to Barbara. Barbara gave her all the paperwork about her son, and they didn't object. So the judge said, granted.
Mm-hmm.
We're all set now. So she has guardianship. And the same thing with her daughter. It's not hard, people. Mm-hmm. And if you're indigent, if you are below poverty, you are poverty or below, you can file the paperwork for free. That's how we do it. That's how
and the thing is too,
or it's a sliding scale.
When you're doing legal guardianship, you got to remember this. It's a very important factor. You have to do a clinical, okay? That's the most important part of it.
Alma, no due process and no federal. I'm telling you, you have no idea what you're even thinking about. You have no idea.
So
I don't know what you're planning on, but even with an attorney, it's hard. You're going to have an argument with your attorney unless you know somebody real good. But those real good ones cost a real lot of money.
Thank you, Alma.
We're getting there. I mean, every day. So we got a new mattress on his bed. We got a nurse. The dingleberry that called his doctor up. This is the kind of stuff that goes on. The dingleberry, one of the dingleberries, house manager of the group home, called the doctor and changed his meds so that it's long lasting because it has to do with behaviors. Barbara didn't know anything about it. They never discussed it. Till this day, she doesn't know why he did it. You know who wasn't involved in that discussion? A nurse. You know why? They didn't have a nurse then. Barbara only found the information on the portal. Soon as she found the information, she changed the password. And then I just recently filed with the Board of Medicine against the doctor for violation of HIPAA. This is like an everyday, all day long job just for Barbara.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We
Mm-hmm.
haven't even gotten to her daughter yet. But anyway,
So we're going to Evergreen, right?
so yeah, but I think I'm going to stop right here. But when we come back next week, we're going to talk about the program. Now, what I want you guys to keep in mind is, all through this, maybe if I can find his IEP, I'll pull it up and show you what the transition looked like. The transition is a joke in Massachusetts. I don't know what it's like in any place else, but it's a joke. They don't follow any laws about transition. And yes, you have to be detectives. You really do. We put stuff together. They didn't do any of it. They didn't do anything that we want. Hence, he's sitting in a group home right now, and he can't put on his own pants. He can't change his underwear. He can't wash his face. He can't make a sandwich. He can't do nothing. So the school that cost $1 million that Pembroke paid for, which I can prove, didn't teach him a damn thing. What it did teach him, though, was a couple of times somebody did something to him at that school, and he fought back because his instincts are fight or flight. If you take I believe that if you take something from him, he's gonna hit you. If you take like his food, he's eating his food, and you take his food because you decided he's done, and he's not done, he's gonna hit you. If you take something away from him I mean, that's typical of this population. So Barbara called me up one day and she said, Debbie, I got an incident report. Now he's at a school, private school, licensed by the state, that the school district is paying for. We call up, Barbara calls me up, she says, this is happening, I can't believe this. They just called me and said there was an incident. There's always an incident. But then they had to put him in a 5-point restraint. They won't tell us what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Barbara calls me up. I said, oh, they won't tell you? Not a problem. This is when we first started doing it. And this will segue into something else. So, you're welcome, Alma. Barbara calls me up, and I said, oh, they're not going to tell you? Call the local police over there in that town where that house is at. Mm-hmm. And you tell them you want to do a wellness check. Tell them about your son. Tell them he's in a group home over there at that private school. And something's going on and you want him over there. The police walk in. Police go up there. They want to know what's happening. Barbara goes in there. She tells me, talking to the police and everything. First of all, she said, and even the police report said, the guy had marks all over his face. Sean must have beat his ass. And he was a big dude. Sean beat his ass. Scratches all over the place, everything, right? Sean didn't have a mark on him. Nothing. And when Barbara walks in there, Sean is sitting in this big room with all the people that work there, I guess, and other people, all up against the wall. And Sean's in the middle of the floor, sitting in a chair eating an Oreo cookie. Happy?
Mm-hmm.
So that was police report number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't there another one?
Yeah. There was 3 of them at least.
Yeah, it was 3 of them. Because the wench that was working there, she was a BCBA. She's now a BCBA, Nicole. She lied to the police. She was not forthcoming with the truth about what was going on. She was just gaslighting the cops. And for some strange reason, she thought, I guess, that she's so cute, that they were going to listen to her. And they didn't. But you know what happened to that police report? Well, because of that police report, Barbara got contacted by the Boston Globe, huge newspaper, to ask her about the incident that took place at the Evergreen School with her son regarding the police report they found. Because guess what? The matter of public record. So it was easy to find. So they called her and everything. The next thing we know, OSEP is doing an investigation because guess what I did? Barbara got the newspaper article on the internet. She paid for it. She downloaded it. She sent it to me. And then I sent it to OSEP. And I said, this is the shit that's going on in Massachusetts with these private schools. This is just one. Look at this. It's 42-page report about private schools in Massachusetts.
Mm. And it was all bad. All bad.
It's all bad. And so now OSEP has that. Plus other people are making statements. I'm still sending them emails about my kid, Sean. And so, and then January 16th, 2025, they came out with the report about how the state is not monitoring private schools. What did you do for your personal mental? Yeah, Alma says, Barbara, what do you do for your personal mental health?
I do my arts and crafts. I can show you. Can I show them?
Yes.
All right, I'll show them.
Gotta love it. I love when she says, fuck. That's my favorite thing. She's so bad. She's so bad.
So what I do is I like to bling.
You gotta watch her because she'll bling her daughter in a minute.
So I do this. Yeah. This is what I do. It's good. It's good mental therapy for me. So I got this one too. And I did this
glue,
one.
huh? You're just gluing, aren't you? You're
Yeah.
just glue crazy. Don't you have a Cricut too?
Yes, I do. Cricut's right here. It's on my side here. And then I got this one too that I just started working on.
That one's pretty. I like that. I like the flower.
So I keep myself mentally and physically well. I work full time, and I got Tammy. You know, you got to have a good advocate. So, yeah. But
I quit.
I know.
I quit every week.
Every week she quits.
Every week I quit. I quit. I'm done. You're stupid.
Yeah, I know.
That's how I do it. I quit. I'm done.
That's
stupid.
every day. That's every day.
And she doesn't pay attention to me. She calls me right back. Tammy, how you doing? I'm like, I'm gonna kill you. My mother even knows Barbara, and my mother says, "You ain't never getting rid of Barbara. She ain't going nowhere. Leave Barbara alone. Why you always bothering her? That's not nice." I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm a killer. But this is what I can't be mad at Barbara.
I also read. I read and educate myself as much as possible. I'm busy with emails. I'm a secretary for both of my children all the time.
I teach her all kind of stuff to do
every
with all
day.
those emails.
I have to learn how to type better.
This what we're doing right now. Barbara couldn't do this a few weeks ago. A couple of years ago, Barbara didn't know how to connect like this. I mean, it was a fiasco. She got a new computer. She got a new camera. She got a microphone. Tell her everything.
Everything, right?
And then she can participate.
Right. I mean, I try to keep my head above water, but sometimes it's hard. I'm not perfect. Like I had to apologize to the staff because going there 7 o'clock in the morning. But you know what?
I don't care. You know what? I don't care that you did.
I know, but
what I care about is that they were looking. See, the reason why it was a problem that I saw because they were like, so we're gonna make her. She has to announce that she's coming, but that's not what the law says. They can't. Her son, it's like that's his apartment. They can't say you can't come here. You don't own him. Don't make me come to Massachusetts. I swear to God. I will beat Lisa Saba's ass all up and down fucking street. I will.
I mean,
I can't stand that woman.
Let's be specific too here. He pays room and board. He pays food stamps. That's another.
They use his food stamps. They don't take him anywhere. He doesn't go anywhere. He sits in the house all day long because DDS just told us they don't have a workforce. What DDS doesn't know is they have to report how many people they placed in like day-abs. Everything they do with these people, they have to explain it in their money. So I found the reports. And I found the reports just like what the public school system does. They have to send their reports, and then DDS has to investigate, if they're still a good company to do this, ensure they keep their license. Well, it's the same thing. And I found their reports, and they're not good for this program that he's in. And DDS, everything we got them on, DDS already knew we were going to get him on it when we reported him. But they don't care. So now I'm going to kick it up a notch, and I'm going to send it to the Center for Medicaid Services. I already have the woman's exactly. FAFO, man, FAFO. Okay, I'm telling you, it's just nonsense, constant nonsense all the time. And what it is about bureaucracy. It's just about you. It just tells you politics ain't no good. It's just always bad. Somebody's always doing something. Somebody's always stealing. Somebody always thinks like they're the head honcho in charge.
Yes.
And then they meet me, and I let them know. You don't have nothing I want, need, or could use. What I want you to do is your job. That's it. That's what I want you to do. But you don't impress me. Your title means absolutely nothing to me. Unless you're Barack Obama, Eric Holder, Adam Schiff. Don't even come over here. I want to talk to you. You got to understand. You're stupid. Don't talk to stupid people. Be evil. So anyway.
Yeah.
So that's good, Alma. I'm ordering a punch bag. I'm telling you. And you know what to put the face on the punch bag, right? You'll crack
What?
up if I tell you what I found helps me relax the most.
Uh-oh.
What? Nobody's here. What? Nobody's here. What did you find? You'll crack up if I tell you what I found that helps you relax the most. What is that? You know, a lot of things are popping in my head.
I know, right?
I wish I could, but I can't.
I can't either. I used to be able to drink, but I can't. I can't do it. I mean,
I don't like drinking. I don't like it. It gives me a headache.
It does, and I get a hangover.
And I don't like headaches.
And I can't. I got a small stomach now. You know, it doesn't. No, it's no fun.
Hey guys, I lost 5 pounds.
Yay!
So happy.
Yay!
And all I did is eat veggies and protein. Got out all that nonsense. Come on, tell us what you're gonna tell us. You can't leave us hanging like that. Nobody's here. Cray. Tell me what it is. Anyway. So I'm gonna go now next week. So all of this, so far, what you guys have learned is there's no transition. That's what we want. There's none. So far, this kid has not gotten any transition at all. And now the next level is complaining that they got to take care of him. And do you know these people were sitting at all of his team meetings? DDS staff was sitting at his meetings knowing full well where he was going to end up, and they have done absolutely nothing. They didn't help. They didn't champion for him to get these services. They do nothing. What are you laughing about? Orange face for the That is so good.
Alma, that's perfect. Yeah.
That is perfect. It would be perfect for me. Maybe I should keep it to myself. No judgments. I guess I can't leave you hanging. No, tell me what it is. That's not nice.
That's funny.
That's nice.
Alma, that's perfect.
It is perfect. It's so funny because my sister wants me to make her a t-shirt about Orange Man, and I didn't have any of the orange vinyl, so I had to go get some. So she's here this weekend, and so I'm gonna make her a shirt that she wanted because I got the orange stuff. So she's been
orange. Oh, orange.
Come on, that's not nice. You're leaving me hanging. Orange face. Oh God, yes, with the hair.
I know, right?
She'll go get that the float that they use in England where he's crying. I like the one where he has a diaper on.
I know, isn't that funny?
And he's flying in the sky. Yeah. Quick question. Do you know if the district can pay college in transition stage? College? Depends on what it is. You need the age appropriate transition toolkit because some of the stuff in there might be paid through like what's that? MRI. It's it's another agency. That's why you got to find out what agency your kid falls under. Is it mental health? Is it developmental disabilities? Because these are agencies that can help you get more services. So you can contact the school and ask them what are the agencies, or where do you live, Anna? What state? Is it Illinois? Are you the one in Illinois? Because they might. It's not, I don't know what you said, can pay college transition stage. I don't know what you mean by that. Before they age out of school, there's a whole bunch of stuff they have to pay for. It's part of college. Barbara's daughter she actually went to college as part of their transition program. That was one thing they did for her daughter. And she liked it a lot. So they gave her an opportunity to go and go to a college. She took culinary courses and she took an art course. And so she got the feel of what it would be like to go there. And the school district paid for that. Okay, so up until the day your kid leaves, they're responsible. So that's 22.
Do you want to discuss details later on about that too?
Yeah, that's going to be that's transition. So we're going to talk about that another time. But Illinois, okay. You know what I'll do, Anna? You come back next week, okay? And I'll have that answer for you, okay? Transition services. How old is your kid? They age out yet? See, in Massachusetts, we have a thing called the Massachusetts MRC. MRIMR. It has to do with college, getting college. No, I gotta find it. Yeah. MRC is okay. So in Massachusetts, it's called the Massachusetts Rehabilitation Commission. So we have to find one that does that in your state. They're all over the place. Tammy, be careful with this. Oh, okay. Really? Thanks, Alma. Okay, good. Alma's my person. She finds those things for me. Thanks. You know what? I thought.
Thank you.
I was thinking that, and I'm like, I thought it was somebody else. So that's good. 19. Okay. Let me look it up in your state, and I'll tell you what's available. Okay. There's a department in every state, really, and it's all about rehabilitation prior to leaving. Now, rehabilitation can also happen, it's not the rehabilitation that you think. It's for adult living is what it amounts to. Okay. So, okay, so I'm just gonna, okay. Illinois DRS, Department of Rehabilitation. There you go. That's what it is. So that's where you would get those services. But the school district, okay, they can send a referral over for them. So call them up and get the application. And all the information in there you need to know. But I'll look it up. So it's DRS. Okay. So I'll look it up and I'll tell you what to do. Okay, and how to do that. But basically it's an application. It's like trying to get, when your kid is in school, what they have to do is identify a particular service that might be under the law, that might be responsible for funding special, services. That's what transition services is all about. And that's here. If you want, I'll put this law right here. Transition. CFR 343. Okay. Look up that law so it'll give you an idea of what goes on. But then you also have to look at, I think it's 320 or 321. So check out this. No, let me look at the other one. I'll check that out first. But start there. and then go look up the stuff for DRS in your state, and then I'll look up some stuff for you, okay? To let you know what's available and how you go about getting it. 99% of it is through the school. That's what we did with Barbara's kid. Okay? So I'm going to sign off. I want to thank Barbara for coming. We'll get into more details about the transition from Evergreen School to adult living, and then because we talked about most of it. So now we can go right into the adult living part. And all along the way, just keep in mind, he didn't get any transition services to speak of, even though he went to 3 private day programs that specialize in that very field. And I will show you those schools next week on what they offer for people that attend that school, those 3-day schools. Okay, and they didn't give it to them. So it's hard. I love you
Thank
too,
you, everybody.
guys. I love you. Barbara, talk to you tomorrow.
All right. Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye. Good night.
Bye.
Thank you for
Good
coming.
night.